Good morning, students. Today we will be discussing about the blood vascular system of UNIO. This is the diagrammatic representation showing the blood vascular system in UNIO, which we will be discussing in detail in the upcoming slides. Myself, Dr. Balram Sai, Assistant Professor in Zoology, Government Dunga College, Bikaner. Blood vascular system of UNIO. The blood vascular system is well developed and is of open type. It comprises blood, heart, pericardium, arteries, sinuses, and veins. Blood. It is the circulatory medium and consists of plasma and corpuscles. The plasma is colorless, probably in all lamnibrans, but in some species it is slight bluish in color due to the presence of a respiratory pigment, the hemocyanin. Hemocyanin is a copper-containing respiratory pigment, hence imparts bluish color to the plasma, in contrast to hemoglobin, which is iron-containing respiratory pigment. However, some bivalves like Solan possesses hemoglobin as the respiratory pigment. A large number of colorless stellate amoebocytes or corpuscles, also referred to as leukocytes, are found in the plasma. The leukocytes are granular as well as non-granular in nature. The granular leukocytes leave the blood spaces and enter the body where they are phagocytic and remove waste. The blood performs its usual function of distribution of oxygen and nutrients to the parts of the body and carbon dioxide and nitrogenous waste to the desired organs. Next is the heart and pericardium. This is a diagrammatic representation which we will be discussing. The heart of UNIO is three-chambered and found enclosed in a thin-walled triangular sac called pericardium. Here you can see it is situated in front of the posterior adductor muscle and placed mid-dorsally. The heart is three-chambered, having one ventricle and two auricles. Here you can see this is ventricle and these are the auricles, and this is the pericardium, which is filled with pericardial fluid, and it represents a part of original coelom. The pericardium, however, communicates with the suprabranchial chamber through the kidneys, and here you can see the auricular ventricular aperture by which the auricle opens into the ventricle. Here one thing is important in the case of UNIO, which is the most remarkable feature of the circulatory system of UNIO, is that the rectum, here you can see the rectum passes through the ventricle and pericardium. Here you can see the rectum passes through the pericardium, which is the remarkable feature of the circulatory system of UNIO. The auricles are thin-walled, highly distensible triangular chambers, one on either side of the ventricle. Each auricle opens into the ventricle by the auricular ventricular aperture, guarded by a valve which allows the flow of blood from auricle to ventricle, but do not permit the blood to go back into the auricle from ventricle. In the picture you can see the auricular ventricular aperture by which auricles open into the ventricle, and this aperture This aperture do not permit the blood to go back into the auricle from the ventricle. Auricles are attached to the pericardium with their broad bases but open dorsally into the ventricle. The auricles, however, receive blood from the tenidia, kidneys and mantle and pour it into the ventricle. The ventricle is thick-walled, muscular and horizontal chamber surrounding the rectum. Here you can see this is the ventricle, which is thick-walled, muscular and is surrounding the rectum. In most lamellibranchs, the ventricle has become folded around the rectum so that the pericardium encloses not only the heart but also a part of the alimentary canal. The heart beat about 20 to 100 times per minute in the case of UNIO. Next is the arteries. Each end of the ventricle is continued into an aorta, the anterior end into the anterior aorta and the posterior end into the posterior aorta. From the picture you can see this is the ventricle. From the anterior end rises the anterior aorta and from the posterior end rises the posterior aorta. The anterior aorta passes over the rectum while the posterior aorta below the rectum, and they give off a number of small arteries to supply blood into the different parts of the body. In fact, the anterior aorta gives off three main arteries as shown in the picture. Here you can see this is the first, the anterior pallial artery supplying to the mental part. Next is the pedal artery, which is arising from the anterior aorta and it is supplying blood to the foot. And the third branch arising from the anterior aorta is the visceral artery. Here you can see the visceral artery, which gives off a gastric artery to stomach, a hepatic artery to the liver or digestive gland, and intestinal artery to intestine, and a gonadal artery to the gonad part. These we have discussed. The anterior pallial artery supplying to the mental part. This is the anterior pallial artery supplying to the mental part. Next is the pedal artery. Here you can see the pedal artery supplying blood to the foot region. Then the visceral artery, which gives off the gastric artery to the stomach part, a hepatic artery to the liver or digestive gland, and intestinal artery. Here you can see the intestinal artery, then the hepatic artery and the gonadal artery or the genital artery giving off blood to the gonad region. The posterior aorta gives fine arteries to the pericardium and kidneys. A branch from it supplies to the rectum, and finally it continues as posterior pallial artery to supply the mental. Here you can see this is the from the posterior region of the heart, posterior aorta rises, which gives off to the branch to the rectal artery and finally continues as posterior pallial artery. Next is the sinuses. The arteries end in ill-defined sinuses and lacunae, which lack the epithelial lining of true blood vessels. There are no capillaries in mollusks except in cephalopods. The blood from the arteries seeps into lacunous spaces in the connective tissue from where blood is taken up by the veins. Therefore, Unio's circulatory system is said to be of open type. Next is the veins. The venous blood from the visceral organs is collected by smaller veins, that is the gonadial vein from the gonad, intestinal vein from the intestine, hepatic vein from the liver, and gastric vein from the stomach. All these veins together form the visceral vein. The blood from the pedal sinus in the foot is collected by the pedal vein, which joins the visceral vein to form a long vein called the vena cava. This is the visceral vein and this is the vena cava. Here you can see pedal vein which is joining the visceral vein, and here you can see the intestinal vein, then the hepatic vein, then the gastric vein. All these join to form the visceral vein, and then the pedal vein also joins the visceral vein, and they all together form a vena cava. The vena cava lies longitudinally beneath the pericardium between the kidneys. Blood from vena cava goes to the kidneys through afferent renal veins, where nitrogenous waste is removed from the blood. Here you can see the afferent renal vein which arises from the vena cava and where nitrogenous waste is removed from the blood. From kidneys, blood is collected by efferent renal veins, which finally forms a pair of afferent branchial or tenoidal vein which sends branches into the filaments of the gill. Then the blood is oxygenated in gills and goes into the longitudinal efferent branchial or tenoidal vein, which returns the blood to one of the auricles of the heart. But some blood from the vena cava and kidneys goes directly to the heart without going to the gills. Hence, the heart also receives some deoxygenated blood. The blood which had gone to the mantle is purified, that is, oxygenated, and then returned to the other auricle of the heart by pallial veins. Here we will discuss about the course of circulation of blood in urine. This is the flow chart showing the outline of course of blood circulation. Blood from the heart goes to the anterior and posterior parts of the body through anterior and posterior aorta. Here you can see this is the heart. From the anterior part arises the anterior aorta. From the posterior part arises the posterior aorta. Through these aorta, anterior aorta and posterior aorta, a part of blood goes to the mantle. Here you can see, and from the posterior part also goes to the mantle, where oxygenation occurs, and finally oxygenated blood is conveyed to the auricle through the pallial vein. Here you can see from mantle it is conveyed to the auricle through pallial vein, and from pallial vein to the heart. Similarly, similar pattern also from anterior aorta to mantle, from mantle to pallial vein, and to the auricle of the heart. The other parts of the body are supplied by different branches of these aorta, where it becomes deoxygenated. The deoxygenated blood is finally collected into vena cava through venal veins. Here you can see from anterior aorta it is supplied to the visceral organs where it becomes deoxygenated, and the deoxygenated blood from visceral organs is finally collected to vena cava through several veins, and then the vena cava gives blood to the kidneys where nitrogenous waste are removed, and then the blood goes to the gills for oxygen. From vena cava, here you can see in the picture, it is supplied to the kidneys where nitrogenous waste are removed in the kidney, and then blood goes to the gills for oxygenation, and the oxygenated blood from the gills is conveyed to the heart by efferent branchial or pterygial veins. From here, gills, the oxygenated blood is conveyed to the efferent branchial veins and finally to the heart. The circulation is completed and the heart again starts distributing the blood to the various organs. In this way, the cycle goes on. Again, summarizing, from heart, from the anterior part, anterior aorta rises, and from the posterior part, posterior aorta rises. From the anterior aorta, it goes to the mental, then to the pallial vein, and finally to the auricles. Similarly, from the posterior aorta, it goes to the mental, then to the pallial vein, and finally to the auricle. From anterior aorta, it goes to the visceral organs where it is deoxygenated. This deoxygenated blood is collected in vena cava, and from vena cava it is supplied to the kidneys from where nitrogenous waste is removed, then to the gills where it is oxygenated, and by efferent branchial veins it is supplied to the heart again. This cycle continues and the course of circulation of blood occurs in the case of Unio. Thanks a lot for paying the attention, and in the upcoming lectures we will discuss about the nervous system of Unio. Thanks again.